Hi, good evening. Welcome to ACCA's Practice to Pass session for SBL. This is Sir Hassan Dosani. How are you guys doing tonight? Excellent, excellent. Okay, can I get a few confirmations that you can hear me clearly and you are able to see my screen clearly? You can type your comment as yes in the question box, which is available to you. Right, so since today is the first class, I would like to wait for 2 more minutes for our colleagues who are trying to join in or struggling to join in. So let's give them a little bit of benefit of doubt for 2 more minutes and then we will be ready to kick off. Okay, I'm getting some comments that couple of you guys are not able to see my screen. I believe most of you are able to see my screen. Okay, so the way you can ask question is you can type in your question, and after every couple of slides I will take a pause, I will go through the questions and I will try to my best to answer them. All right, excellent. So I think we are good to start. Right, so welcome again to the SBL session for September 2020. This would be a Power Pack exam focus session. My name is Sir Hassan Dosani, and this is my second webinar. The first one was conducted by me in March 2020. Right, so what will be our strategy for next 5 days? As usual, we will just be spending like 35 minutes on topics, models, and discussions. And the bulk of the time I would like to spend doing actual questions so that we are able to not only understand and apply the concept, we are also able to, apply the exam techniques and other professional skill required. Okay, so our approach would be every day we will do few topics and then right away we will do the practice questions on those topics and so forth. A little bit of word of caution here. It is just a 15 hours webinar, so we all know that we will not be able to complete the entire syllabus. So I have picked up those topics which I feel are most important for SBL plus few of the difficult topics. And I do hope that you understand this fact that the rest of the topics you will have to do on your own outside the webinar. The second thing is that this webinar, in this webinar, when I will be solving the questions, I will be using the CBE practice platform. The reason is that this webinar is being organized by ACCA Pakistan, and in Pakistan the September attempt is computer-based examination, and that's why the ACCA Pakistan wants that this session should be conducted using the CBE software. So nothing to worry about here for all my friends who are doing manual paper. Nothing to worry, because the bulk of the techniques are the same. So the concepts are the same, the techniques are the same, the professional marks are the same, the formats are the same. It's just that the way we will highlight the question and the way we will just copy paste the question, that would differ between the manual paper versus the computer based software. Okay, so there will be some little bit of topics which is purely computer based for a few minutes, so manual students can just bear with me for a few minutes when I'm explaining the software. But other than that, you will actually, the manual students would definitely benefit from this session. It's not like that this session is only for CBE students. Okay, and a little bit of introduction of myself. From my professional qualification point of view, I am a fellow chartered accountant. I did my CA way back in 1999. After that, I did several other qualifications like CIMA, CISA, CIA, something in HR, something in marketing, something in quality standards. So I've kept on, doing my professional development as and when I can. I've 20 years of working experience in the field of accounting and auditing, and currently I am the CFO of an accounting firm based in Dubai. And before that, I was a CFO of insurance brokerage firm in Dubai. So I have been a director for last 10 years. So I actually sit in the board of directors. And those of you who know a little bit about SBL, SBL is all about the board of directors. Okay, so my experience, my real-time exposure, I would try to share with you so that it becomes easier for you to understand and relate to. As far as my teaching experience is concerned, I've been teaching ACCA students for the last 20 years, and I just specialize in this subject and nothing else. And teaching is my passion. So after my office hours, I do give whatever time I can to my young fellow professionals. Okay, here is my WhatsApp number as well. Please save my WhatsApp number so that you are able to reach me with any questions after the class. Okay, right, so pass rates. So in March 2020, it was 47%, and ACCA has not published the passing rates for June 2020, I believe, as yet. So if you see, the graph is just, it's like a roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down, and again it's on the up. So let's hope and pray that September's passing rate should improve so that we all can pass. Now, for those of you who are giving SBL for the first time, if you want to know in one word, if I want to describe SBL, it is a beast. You understand beast? Okay, so it's a beast of a subject. And let me quickly rub it before ACCA makes a noise. SBL is actually very, very different from all the other ACCA papers you have given so far. Okay, why is it different? Because why is it different? Because it is one integrated case study with no choice. So it's one big fat case of around 10 pages, and all the questions will come out from that case only. The second challenge is it's the only paper which is 4 hours. Rest of your papers will be 3 hours, 3 hours 15 minutes max. This one is 4 hours. So what this means is that it is a real test of your mental stamina and your physical stamina. Okay. And then there is 20 marks for professional skills. My God. So in all your other papers, maximum professional skills marks was 4 marks out of 100. But in this paper, the professional skills marks is 20 marks out of 100. So if you take a step back and just think, 20% of your paper depends on professional marks. 20%. That's in fact one highest, that's one big full-fledged question, 20 marks. The problem is that professional skills is something which I call intangible. There are certain guidelines and techniques which I will make sure you understand, and we have to, at least score 10 out of 20 in order to pass. Ideally, I would target for 13 or 14 marks out of 20, but keep in mind that you guys have to score at least 10 out of 20. So professional skills is something which we need to focus on and we cannot afford to ignore. Okay, so another thing is, this is very interesting. Less emphasis on models. So I come across a lot of students who tend to get panic about models, and they do all kind of stupid models which is available under the sun. In fact, it is examiner's comments every time he is pissed off. He's saying that I feel that students deliberately try to use a model even though it's not required. So please keep in mind that SBL is not a paper of models. Yes, there are models mentioned in the syllabus. However, keep in mind that whatever answer you are drafting, whatever reports or briefing paper you are drafting, they all are supposed to be submitted to the board of directors. So in a real life corporate environment, do you really think that directors are interested in models, or are they more interested in simple, straightforward, logical analysis? So yes, if you can use a model, it would give a good impression because it would give a structured way of drafting your answer. But the use of model is not mandatory. Even if you don't use a model and come up with a logical, well-presented answer without using a model, you will get equally good marks. Okay, so we'll talk about it once we go along. And then there are so many formats required. Like there are reports and briefing notes and memos and presentation slides and press release, emails, letters, project initiation documents. So all these things you guys have never experienced in any other paper. So SBL is a beast, not because it's difficult, because it is different. Okay, it's not difficult, it's just different. And a different paper needs a different approach. So you just need to think differently when you are doing SBL. Those techniques which you have used in other papers may not necessarily work in SBL. So I will be telling you some strange, interesting techniques which you may not have heard before or you may not have applied before. This is only because this paper is different. Okay. Right, so let me take a pause here and go through any questions. Okay, so no major question. All the technical questions like no voice or no screens, ACCA's technical team is right there and they will be assisting you with that. And if ACCA's technical team is able to hear me, can you kindly help the students resolve their technical issues? One question I saw was an interesting question. Usman Shafkat is asking, which paper is easier or which paper has good exam results, CBE or manual? All right, so as per the examiner, both papers, the manual paper and the CBE paper, are treated equally. There is no preference of one over other in terms of marking and pass rate. Okay, having said that, my personal opinion is that CBE paper is relatively easier to handle because we are able to copy paste a lot of stuff. We are able to draw formats pretty quickly as compared to manual. And maybe you will see that yourself once we start doing some CBE questions. But this doesn't mean that my friends who are giving manual paper should be discouraged. Manual paper has their own advantages, and CBE also has its own limitations. So all in all, they are pretty equal. Okay, let me, is there a mock exam at the end? Is there a mock exam at the end of this webinar? A mock is not part of this webinar. I might be conducting a webinar at a personal level, a mock sessions at a personal level. Do we need to go through your notes? Yes, if you can go through the notes. I will talk about all this in the last class. Can we attempt whole paper without using models? Absolutely, yes. Does typing speed matter for CBE? Not really. If you have a reasonable typing speed, and what is reasonable? For example, on a scale of 1 to 10, if your typing speed is 5 to 6, you are done because 70% of the stuff you will be copy pasting. What should be our strategy for till the exam? I will cover this in the last class. Students, do they get the same questions for CBE? Absolutely same questions as manual paper. Bookish knowledge important? Not at all. If we write paragraph without heading, that's fine. Is it possible to pass if we start studying now? Yes, if you are a smart worker, then yes. If you are a hard worker, then no. SBL is about smart. All right, so I'll take the rest of the questions in a bit. I want to move on. All right. Do you guys want to pass SBL? Obviously, yes, right? So then we need to understand why examiner fails innocent students like you. There must be some reasons why the examiner doesn't pass almost 50% of the students. So what are the top 3 reasons which really pisses off the examiner? His first issue is that answers are not linked with the exhibit. That's his first problem. Okay. He feels that students do not link their answers with the exhibits. Now in SBL, there is no marks for general answer. There is no marks for any definition. You have to link your answer with the case, with the exhibits. And today I will exactly teach you the technique how to link your answer. Okay. The second issue which the examiner has is insufficient number of points as per the mark allocation. He feels that the students, they do not write sufficient number of points considering the marks. So tomorrow I will talk about this, that how many number of points are we supposed to write, what should be the length of our answer, how many lines, how many points. All this I will cover tomorrow. And the third issue is poor time management, in which he always mentions that either the students are not able to complete the paper, or the quality of the last couple of answers is so bad that it shows that students are just trying to wrap up the last couple of questions due to lack of time. So poor time management. So these are the 3 top reasons why students are not able to pass SBL. So I will talk about these 3 techniques, 1 technique per day. So today we will talk about how to link answers with the exhibit. Tomorrow we will talk about what should be the number of points and the length of your answer. And day after tomorrow, we will talk about how to manage your time. Okay. Now, guys and girls, take a look at this. Now, these are some additional comments which the examiner makes every time. And he's saying the students are not answering complete requirement. They are not answering complete requirements. Come on. Seriously? Students not paying attention to format required. I mean, I can't believe this. So nothing can be done about this. I cannot teach you how to give a complete answer. These are silly mistakes. Or maybe the students, they panic under exam conditions, or maybe they never had a teacher or a mentor who tells them. But if you just being very honest and unbiased, I hope you will see that these are very stupid comments, not answering complete requirements, not paying attention to format, giving long paragraphs with multiple points kind of squeezed into that paragraph, using models unnecessarily. This is exact wordings from the examiner, and then giving recommendations without giving its justifications. So please please be mindful of these stupid errors. I will work really hard with you guys so that these 3 things are addressed. But on these 5 stupid errors, you need to help yourself on this. Okay, my job is to just identify you these stupid things, which I'm sure any level-headed student will definitely try and avoid this. Okay. So for September 2020, do you guys want a list of important topics and a list of practice questions and the study plan for last 3 weeks? For sure, yes. And I will share all the 3 items in the last class, simply because first I want you to be familiar with the key topics, familiar with the exam techniques, professional marks. You must have some baseline understanding, and then you will be able to understand and attend all these things. Okay, so I'm deliberately not giving it to you upfront because I don't want you to try anything now. But right after the webinar, you must do all these things. Okay, so our last class, the 5th class, will be the most important class because I will be sharing the list of important topics and the list of practice questions and the study approach for last 3 weeks on day number 5. Right, so let's hit today's agenda. So every day, first item we will do is we will talk about exam techniques. So today's exam technique is how to link your answer with the exhibit. After that, I will do 2 very, very, very important topics: suitability, feasibility, acceptability, followed by financial projections. And both these topics are the most highly tested topics of SBL. No other topic has come with this high frequency as SFA model and financial projections. So I thought to start with that topic, which has been tested the most, in fact, in almost every attempt by the SBL examiner. After going to the topic, we will be doing one actual question on these topics. We will then talk about the professional skills. Today we will talk about evaluation skill, because evaluation skill is actually we need to use it in this question. And fourthly, we will talk about format, and today's format will be a report format. because it is required in this question. So I've tried to pick up a question which is comprehensive and which covers the right topics, the right professional skills, and the right formats. Okay. So before I move to the exam technique, let me take some questions. Please stay away from the kits. Okay. Do not use any kit while you are doing this. Exhibits of March 20 were quite generic with limited information. Yes, I will tell you how to do it. Do we have to mention as per the scenario? No, no, never, Faizan. Can you write as per the scenario to the board of directors? No, right? So always think when you are drafting, think that your report will be submitted to the board of directors. Automatically, you will feel a change in your approach. Okay. Teaching. Yes, of course, I will teach everything today in the formats, how to draft everything, how to write answers. Of course, I will teach technical articles. I will cover on day 5. And this time there are quite interesting technical articles on blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies. How can you send your question? You just type your question in the question book. Please don't use any kits, okay? If you want to attend my webinar, I would strongly discourage you to use kits for 2 simple reasons. One, it's too late. Secondly, I feel that the answers in the kits are very complicated. Even the questions are complicated, and it leaves most of the students confused, and it shatters the students' confidence. I will tell you which questions to do, don't worry. But for next 5 days, forget about everything. Forget about everything for next 5 days. No book, no kit, no practice. Just make sure you attend the webinar and do the question which I do in the webinar. That's it. On the 5th day, I will take all these questions and I will guide you properly for the next 3 weeks. Okay, right. So let's move on. Exam technique. Now, this is a very, very important slide. How to link answer with exhibits. Please, I need your 110% attention now. Good, thanks. How to link answer with the exhibit. Step number 1. Step number 1 is you first make a list of requirements. So as soon as you get your paper, as soon as the paper starts, the first and foremost thing is you quickly make a simple list of your requirements. Okay. So now the students who are giving CBE paper, you will open up your answer sheet. Okay. You will open up your answer sheet. It's an online answer sheet. So now there are 2 types of things. There is a word processor in your CB platform, and then there is a scratch pad. Scratch pad is just a rough pad for you, but that's online as well. So we will not be using the scratch pad because when you copy paste material from scratch pad to the word processor, all the formatting is lost. Okay, so we will just on the word processor, and I will show you on the word processor. You will quickly copy paste the requirements on the word processor. Okay, the manual students, where will you write all the requirements? On the last page of your physical answer sheet. Do not write anything on the question paper because you will be needing the list of requirements quite often. So if you write it on the question paper, then you will need to turn a lot of pages. So I suggest that on your answer sheet, on the last page, just mention on the top rough working to be ignored, and make a list of requirements on the last page. All you need to do is write the question number. For example, if you write, let's say question number 1A, the topic is SFA. 1B, the topic is risk management, and so forth. You don't write the entire requirements, obviously, because we don't have time, but at least make a table of contents or a very small summary of the requirements. Okay, so the reason why do we need to make a list of requirements? Let me clean this a bit. Now, why do we need to make a list of requirements? Because when we are reading the exhibits, we have to do our referencing. We need to mark certain points. So there are like 10, 12 questions in SBL. So it's not practically possible to remember all the requirements. That is why we make a small list, so that while we read an exhibit, we can quickly refer to the list of questions and do our markings, right? So that's why we need a list of requirements. That's the first step. CBE students, it will take you approximately 3 minutes to copy paste, and manual students, it will approximately take you 5 to 6 minutes to make a manual list on the last page. Okay, once you have made a list, then you will start reading. So you read, the second step is start reading. So you read one paragraph and you stop. Then you will highlight the important facts and figures, or you will highlight the most important key message coming out from that paragraph. So for CBE students, there is an online highlighter, which you will just see in a little bit how to use it. For manual paper students, it is perfectly allowed to use highlighter in your exams. Okay, so please take 2 or 3 highlighters with you, so that you are able to highlight the relevant facts and figures in the exams. Now, once you have highlighted, then the fourth step, in the most difficult step, which you need to learn, is what I call referencing. What is the meaning of referencing? Referencing, those of you who have worked in an audit firm would know, referencing simply means that you write the question number in front of that paragraph. So obviously, if you go back to step number 3 and you have highlighted something, obviously you feel that that highlighted information is important. So now if it's important, the next thing you need to decide is, where will you use that sentence, in which question? So then for that, you will go back to your list of requirements. You will take a quick look, and then you will write the requirement number or the question number in front of that paragraph. Okay, so manual students, just a second, I need to, manual students will need to write the question number in front of the paragraph. And those students who are doing CBE, you will actually copy paste the relevant facts and figures into your word processor. Okay, and I will show you how to do it. So how do you copy paste? You will select, you will press Ctrl+C, and then you will go to your word processor, online word processor, or where you will type all the answers, and there you will do Ctrl+V under the respective question number. Okay, and I'll show you that. And then once you've done that, then you move on to the next paragraph, you highlight, you do your referencing, and you move on. Very, very important technique, and you will require a little bit of practice because I don't want you to highlight everything in the paragraph, right? You must develop this sixth sense of highlighting just what exactly you think is important. And then after you highlight, you must be able to attach it to a particular question number. Now, sometimes you may feel that the information is important, but you are not able to decide which requirement it will fit in. That's perfectly fine. So you can, manual students can draw a star or an asterisk against such information where you know it's important, but you don't know which requirement it pertains to. So you draw a star or an asterisk, okay, so that you can identify later on in case you're searching for any important information. And CBE students, if you are unable to identify which requirement it pertains to, you can copy paste it under miscellaneous. You create a heading called miscellaneous in your answer sheet and just dump that information there, and I will show you how to do it. Okay, now sometimes it can also happen that one point you will feel that this point can go into more than one answers. Okay, you will feel that this point might fit into more than one question. Maybe it can fit into two questions. So you can write both the numbers, both question numbers in front of the paragraph. And CBE students, you can copy paste that sentence under both the questions. So just just identify and pick up important information. Rest everything is done. Okay. So now this is a very, very important slide, and I'm not going to move to the next slide until I answer all the questions on this slide and on this technique. Okay. Do I need to go through my F9 and F5 material? No, not at all. Should we read the requirement first or exhibit? No, you read the requirement first. I just said first you make a list of requirements, right? Full copy paste, make issue of reading all questions in one go. Yes, I will show you how to do it. Copy paste of requirements, should it include the paragraph? I'll show you, don't worry. With those using CB, do we need to copy all the requirements? Obviously, yes. How can you copy half the requirements? What kind of stupid question was that? I was not allowed to use highlighter in March exam. That is very, very strange. And I think you should take it up with ACCA office. Were you giving a manual paper? Because I have confirmation that highlighter is allowed. Please repeat the referencing. I will actually show you the referencing, so you will understand. Is there any information provided in any other exhibit than the respective exhibit? Oh, yes. Exhibits sometimes information is available in more than one exhibit. Okay, so for large questions, you need to pick up 2 or 3 exhibits to compile the answer. Does every paragraph have important information? Not all the time, but most of the time, yes. For me, highlighting takes a lot of time. Yes, I agree. Yes, just like manual paper, you write on the side. What about the students who got example in first 9 papers? I don't care. SBL is a standalone subject. So just please, guys, ask me questions relating to this particular technique. Do we get standard answers written by you? Okay, I will try. Okay, I will repeat the referencing, no problem. We would read the background of the company after making the list of requirements. Absolutely, yes. Invigilators in Sri Lanka did not allow highlighters. This is extremely crazy, because even in CBE there's a highlighter option. How do I post a question into the presenter? You just type in the question box. You see there will be a question box. We have to integrate the answer. Yes. Will you solve and show us the exam question? Of course, yes. Your referencing will not be on the last page. On the last page, you will have a list of requirements. And the referencing you will be doing on the question paper. Whenever you are reading the exhibit, you will write the question number on the exhibit. That is where the referencing will be, on your question paper. If we copy paste requirements, do we have to delete them before submitting? No. That's your answer. We will just edit them, not delete them. Yes, some we will have to just customize them, and extra stuff we will delete, but by and large, we will be using those in our answer. Sir, writing our rough analysis in the main answer sheet won't create. No, we will delete everything rough. The examiner will not see it. I'm talking about the summary of each paragraph. I didn't get you. Do we have to make a plan of how to attempt the question? No. Kindly show all these steps yourself. Yes, I will definitely show. Sir, don't you think this strategy will take a lot of time? Farooq Shahan is asking, sir, don't you think this strategy will take a lot of time planning? It will take, definitely it will take some extra time, not a lot of time, but some extra time. It might take 10 to 15 minutes extra. But do you remember the biggest reason why students fail? Because they don't link with the exhibits, right? So this is something which you need to do, and with practice you will pick up some speed, and you will see the benefit. If you do proper referencing, then you will need less time in drafting, because 90% of your answer is already available and ready. Is formatting necessary? Oh yes. Just imagine you are sending something to the board of directors. Will you not make it look nice and professional? Do we read and reference all the exhibit at once? I will tell you later. So no need for an answer plan. No, your referencing is your answer plan. How much time in total we should spend? I will let you know after 2 days, on the third day. Making a list and referencing will not affect our tight timings. It will affect by 10 to 15 minutes, but then it will save a little bit of your drafting time, so it will automatically balance itself. Anything on the scratch pad, we don't need to discard it. No, but I never told you to write anything on the scratch pad. Stay away from scratch pad. Will you solve questions? Yes, please don't ask questions which I've already answered. Is there any change in syllabus? Not really. Some minor changes here and there which will not affect the important topics. Yes, there must be proper bold heading. Spelling errors. A little bit of spelling errors is tolerable. A little bit of grammatical error is tolerable. A little bit of typo errors is tolerable. But if 50% of your spellings are wrong, then you might lose some marks on professional skills. What is your question, Shiri? Your question is, I can't see your question. It's gone now. Sir, if I answer a question with right answer, but if I did not use appropriate form, will I score marks? Of course, if you don't answer, if you don't give the right format, you will lose marks. That's as simple as that. Sharik, if you think you can link your answers without referencing, then go ahead. Okay, I'm talking a bit about majority of the students who fail to link, then they should do the referencing. If you think that you can do link your exhibits without referencing, then nothing like it. What if we don't write SFA and apply a general answer? Perfectly fine. As I said, model is not mandatory. If your answer is logical and well presented, you will get the marks. Can we write in simple English? Excuse me. Can we write in simple English? Yes, I insist. You must only write in simple English. Do not show off or complicate your English. How do we highlight? Okay. All right, guys, done. So I will quickly repeat the referencing bit. Okay. Referencing simply means that when you read an exhibit, when we read the exhibits, most of us, we do highlight or we do underline the important stuff, right? That's called highlighting or underlining. When I say referencing, what I mean is that you should also write the question number in front of that paragraph. So why have you underlined or why have you highlighted a certain sentence? You must know, for example, okay, let me give an example. If the question says, question number 1 says, analyze the external environment using pastel. Okay, so I know that I need to look for pastel factors, which is political, economic, social, and so forth. So when I'm reading the case, wherever I see something about pastel, like political information or something about economy, something about social, I would definitely underline or highlight it, correct? But then that's not enough. I should also write question number 1A in front of that paragraph. So when you write a question number or a reference, that is what I call referencing. So that in the end, when you complete the reading of all the exhibits, then when you are about to draft your answer, all you need to do is simply look for 1A in all the exhibits and compile that information in your answer. Okay, I hope referencing is now clear, and I will actually show you how to do it, but I will be using the CBE format. Okay, now so let's start with our first topic, which is SFA framework. It is called suitability, feasibility, acceptability framework. This topic has been examined with the highest frequency in SBL so far. So the first thing is, when is this framework used? How would you know when to apply this model? There are two possible scenarios. Okay, the first scenario is when we plan to acquire another company, either in the same country or in another country. So the question would say, if, for example, look at this, I've given an example. The question would say, evaluate the proposed acquisition of ABC company situated in XYZ country, or it could be the same country as well. So what are the keywords? Number 1, proposed. SFA model is always used for a proposal. You will see the word a proposal or a proposed option. So basically it is futuristic. Okay, so when you see the word evaluate the proposed, that should indicate to you that it's a SFA thing. And then the second word is acquisition. As I said, whenever we wish to acquire another company. So in this question, evaluate the proposed acquisition is a very clear-cut shouting at me that it's a SFA question. A second possibility could be when you are asked to evaluate a strategy or a proposed strategy. Okay. So look at this question. Evaluate the option of opening another restaurant in the same city. So it is again, you see, a futuristic thing that we have been asked to evaluate the option, okay, of opening another. So now you understand where we use SFA framework. Whenever we have to analyze a proposed strategy or a proposed option, anything futuristic, any future acquisition plan, all these are the keywords where we need to apply the SFA framework. And also, judging from the marks, you can also understand, because normally SFA carries heavy marks because it's a big model. Something I would say 15 plus marks, 18 marks, 20 marks. Okay, so this is the kind of marks SFA has. Right, so now S stands for suitability. Suitability, it focuses on external factors. Okay, so let's take an example that we are planning to acquire a company, acquisition, right? So suitability talks about external factors, and if you go down, feasibility talks about internal factors. Okay, external factors are obviously factors which are external to the organization, like pestle, political environment, economic environment, social, ecological, technological, legal. Even Porter 5 forces is an external thing, like any information about customers, any information about suppliers, any information about competition. All these external information, these are covered under suitability. Okay, so suitability talks about external aspects of the proposed option. Now, in case of an acquisition question, let me make your life simple. Just give 3 paragraphs under suitability. Okay, the first paragraph should talk about the home country. Home country means where you are currently based in. The second paragraph will talk about the target country, which is in case you are acquiring a company in another country, then you will give some facts and figures, external facts and figures about the target country. And the third paragraph will talk about target company, whichever company you are thinking of acquiring, whatever information is provided, you reproduce that. So I want to see 3 paragraphs under suitability. One on home country, one on target country, one on target company. Now on home country, I would focus more on negative points. Okay. Excuse me. So because I am considering of, going into acquiring a company in another country, there must be some challenges which I am facing in my home country. Maybe the market is mature, maybe the home market is not growing, maybe the competition is very intense, maybe the government regulations are getting tighter day by day, maybe the profitability is shrinking. There must be some reason why we are thinking of moving abroad. So in the home country, I will give one good point, but 2 negative points, so that it builds up a case in favor of acquisition in another country. Okay. Now feasibility, as I said, focuses on internal factors which are internal to the organization. So there are essentially 3 broad internal factors. You see, first factor is human resource or employees. or experience or expertise or competency. The second resource is our financial position or financial resources. And the third internal thing is our technology, IT, brand, goodwill, etc. Okay, so we will touch about, I need you to cover 3 paragraphs in feasibility. The first paragraph will talk about human resource and expertise. So you need to write 3 small paragraphs. The first paragraph will talk about, do we have acquisition experience from the past? So if we are planning to acquire a company, the first thing I would like to know whether we have the experience of acquisition, because acquisition is not easy. It requires certain expertise. So the first thing we would determine is whether we have experience of acquisition or not. It will be mentioned in the scenario whether you have done acquisitions in the past or you have never done acquisition in the past. You just need to identify that information and reproduce it here. The second paragraph would be, do we have experience of managing similar business? This generally would be answered in yes, because normally companies, they don't shift industries. They want to continue with industry which they have experience in, but sometimes they might diversify a little. So you must talk about whether they have experience of running that business. And the third thing which you need to talk about under human resources, do we have experience of working in an overseas country? So you answer these 3 little questions and your human resource aspect will be covered. Under financial resources, you need to see whether do you have the funds to acquire the company. So acquisition may look good, but excuse me, you need some funds as well. So do you have the finances to acquire? So you might have to look at the gearing ratios. If the gearing is high, then you will say that, you know, arranging funds will be difficult. If the gearing is low, you will say that the company can raise debt financing to finance the proposed acquisition. Very simple, very basic, common sense stuff. And the third paragraph, any information about IT mentioned, you just reproduce it. Like if the company has a website, if the company has an online ordering system, if the company uses online booking system, whatever information is about the technology, you can use it. Similarly for brand, if there is a company has established brand, it can take advantage of the brand. So just remember these 3 items. So there were three items in suitability: home country, target company. And then there were 3 items in feasibility, and these are mostly internal: human resource, financial resource, IT/brand. Now there are 3 items in acceptability. Now, acceptability focuses on the financials, the financial projection, the financials of the target company, whether that company is financially strong or weak. We need to analyze that. So first para, we need to comment whether the shareholders will accept the proposed strategy or not. Okay, because shareholders being the owners of the company, they need to approve all these major decisions. So we need to think through as the board of directors whether our proposal to acquire another company will be accepted or approved by the shareholders or not. Now there are 2 possible scenarios. If you are a family owned or a private company, then obviously the proposal will be acceptable by the shareholders, mainly because, you know, the shareholders themselves are the directors. In a private company or a family owned business, the family members, the owners, they run the business themselves. So they are the directors and they are the shareholders. So they are wearing 2 hats at the same time. So if a family owned business or if it's a private company business, you simply write this sentence that since ABC is a private owned company, owned and managed by its own shareholders, the proposed strategy will be acceptable. Khalas. Another possibility is that it is our company is a listed company. So obviously, in a listed company, the directors are separate people and the shareholders are a separate bunch of people. There's an agency, principal agent relationship, right? So in a listed company, what do you think, why the shareholders will approve? What things they will look at? So normally, shareholders will see if there is a positive NPV, if the proposed acquisition will add positively to the net worth of the company, then there is no reason why they should not approve, right? So in a listed company, we need to look at the IRR, or we need to look at the NPV, and if the NPV is reasonable or positive, we will say that the shareholders are expected to approve. Okay, right. The second thing is, if the target company is based in another country, then we have to consider any cultural differences. Okay, so just write this one sentence, that since ABC is another country, we need to consider any cultural difference, full stop. You just need to include the word consider cultural differences somewhere in your answer. Just write a two-liner. I repeat, if it's another country, you just say that since ABC is another country, we need to consider any cultural differences. Full stop. The third thing is, we will look at the financial projections or the financial health of the target company. And I will show you the next slide what to look at. Right, so this is the question I receive most of the time. Many students, they ask, sir, do we need to give a conclusion? So a short answer is no conclusion should be given. Okay, avoid conclusions if the question does not specifically ask you for a conclusion. So if the question says evaluate the strategy, then we will just evaluate the strategy. We will not give recommendation or conclusion. But if the question says evaluate the proposed strategy and along with your recommendation, then in that case, of course, we will need to give a recommendation or conclusion. But if the question is silent, then stay away from conclusion or summary or recommendation. Okay. Now, one thing, sometimes your SFA may get complicated. Sometimes, okay. So no problem. But in fact, I can give you an example. In one of your specimen questions, the company was considering two options. How many options? They were considering two options. They said that they are reviewing their future strategies, and there are two strategic options which they have on the table, and both the options are mutually exclusive, which means that they can either select one out of two and let go of the other. So the requirement said evaluate both options. So which means that when there are two options, then you need to apply two SFAs, right? One SFA, you will do the SFA for the first option. Then you also do another SFA for the second option. Or you can do one SFA but cover both the options. Like under suitability, first you will talk about the first option and then you will talk about the second option. Same for feasibility, same for financials. So this kind of question where you need to do two SFAs or analyze two options, it can really get messy, lengthy, and you might, get stuck somewhere in the middle. So when you feel that SFA might get complicated, then go back to the basics. I had said earlier, it is not compulsory to use any model. So if you feel that you are feeling difficulty in applying SFA, then don't apply SFA. You can use a general approach. But just make sure that your answer is presented logically. You need to cover pros and cons. You just make sure that for both options, you talk about the good things and the bad things, and you also talk about financials if the data is good. So as long as you present the information logically, the board is not interested in a model. The board is interested in your analysis. So if you apply a model, well and good. If you don't apply a model, equally well and good, as long as you cover properly the pros and the cons and the financials. To hell with the model. Okay. Right. So I will pause here and I will take questions specifically on SFA. So what if the acquisition is in the same country? Then we write 2 paragraphs. Yes, indeed, then you write 2 paragraphs. But sometimes it is in the same country but other city. So the dynamics of the other city might be different. So instead of another target country, you might talk about target city. Do we need to tell why we are using SFA? Oh, come on, Siri. I told you again and again, think like you are drafting something for the board of directors. Don't think that you are drafting something for the examiner. So will you tell the board of directors why you are using SFA? Do you think the chairman would be really interested in knowing why you are using SFA? Please change this mindset, okay? Please change this mindset. Forget the examiner. Think that you are drafting your answer for the real board of directors of a company, right? If low NPV, do we still accept? I don't know. It depends on the scenario, depends on the tone of the question, but there's no harm in saying that, yes, the company may consider because it still has a positive NPV, even though it's low. Something diplomatic, okay? Yes, shareholders are interested in dividends. So if the projections are showing positive NPV, that means the profits will increase. Appraisal method, no need for appraisal methods in SBL. Aha, very interesting question by Tolga. Tolga is saying that we already mentioned financial resources in feasibility. So why we need to again do financials? So I repeat, this is a very, very important and an interesting question. Please listen to the question again. Tolga, thank you for asking. I love this kind of questions. Tolga is saying we have mentioned financial resources in feasibility and para 2. So why we again need to mention about the financials in acceptability? So a short answer would be these are two different things. Under the feasibility, I'm talking about my financials. Remember, feasibility is about internal factors. So I'm talking about my financials. Do I have the financial resources to acquire my gearing, my retained earning, my cash balances? But in acceptability, we are analyzing the financials of the target company. Okay, is this clear, my friends, all of you? Family private company will also look at NPV, definitely yes, but if the directors are proposing, that means that they have already looked at it. Can the answers be given in points? No, absolutely not. Will you give your answer in points to the board of directors? Right? September 2020 topics are same as March 2020. Yes, almost same, just couple of things here and there. Some changes on the last day because of technical articles. Should we make more headings or just 2 or 3 in single requirement? I will talk about this tomorrow. How many headings? It all depends on the marks. Isn't one point supposed to be written in one paragraph? And under feasibility, the human resource para 1 contains 3 points. Yes, Rhea, I think it would be better if we give 3 small paragraphs. Okay. Under human resource, I really love if you give 1 point under 1 paragraph. So under human resource, instead of squeezing everything in 1 paragraph, you just give 3 small paragraphs. Okay, and that's perfectly fine. For every question that we answer, do we need to give introduction? No, you will be wasting your time. It all depends, but by and large, no introduction required unless you don't have sufficient number of points. Then you bullshit about introductions. If you have sufficient number of points, then directly straight go and hit the answer. Can we compare both options using a table? Yes, why not? But it will get messy and complicated. But if you can manage, then yes. What financial data do we have to provide? I will talk about it once the finance topic comes in. Do we have to give heading as suitability, feasibility, acceptability? It would be nice if you give the heading, but then you follow the framework. If you are not following the framework, then no need to give headings of suitability, feasibility, acceptability. Then you just logically draft your answers without broad headings. Or you can give the heading external factors, internal factors, and financial analysis. Okay. Sir, you mentioned 2 lines about culture. How many marks will I get for that point? 1 mark. In financial projections, are we to use normal payback or discounted payback? We will use normal payback, and I will show you in a bit. Please repeat what you said about acceptability in private company. In private company, because the shareholders themselves are directors, so if the directors are proposing acquisition plan, then the shareholders will automatically accept because they are the one and the same person. Okay. What if we get what if you get stuck in between the model? Can we continue the rest of the question with general approach? Yes, Huda, unfortunately you don't have a choice. If you get stuck in middle of the model, you don't have a choice but to continue with general approach, but it may not look good. So you need to plan before you start applying a model. Can we give the headings home country, farm resources? Yes and no, it all depends. Okay, give it, or you can skip it. I'm neutral. Do we need to write heading in past paper questions? I have seen them make conclusion when the requirement is to evaluate. Yes, Bianca, in the past paper questions or in the suggested answers, the examiner do give conclusions, but we are not the examiner. So please stay away from conclusion unless it is specifically mentioned in the requirement. Okay, do not try to follow everything that the examiner does, because even if you read the examiner comments or exam techniques, the examiner himself says that do not, or himself says that give conclusions only if required. So let's stick to what I'm advising you. Do we have to show calculations? Now who's this? Sheikh Ahmed. Do we have to show calculations? Okay, I ask you a question. Will you show calculations to the board of directors? And you are the CFO. Will you show the calculations to the board of directors? Now, if someone will ask a stupid question like this, I don't have a choice actually, but I would shoot you. Yeah, just change your mindset, guys. Think like you are a CFO and think like you are giving your answer to the board of directors. So no need for calculations, okay? Do we consider risk and risk appetite in acceptability? Not really, not in the exam conditions. Theoretically, yes, but just ignore and stay away. Can we draft our answer on spreadsheet instead of word processor? No, Shahbaz, no. Okay, please use word processor. Sir, can you get to the slides again when you're discussing doubts? Oh, when you're discussing doubts, which doubts? Which professional skills are being used? This type of question. Normally, Malika, normally they ask for evaluation skills in SFA kind of a question. Okay. So can we write headings like option 1, pros and cons? Yeah, pros and cons wouldn't look nice, but headings like external factors and internal factors are more appropriate. So will we take points from the scenario? So if evaluations, what if we don't have any positive points? There will be some positive points, doesn't matter. And if you can't find in one particular area, it doesn't matter. Overall, you need to give some positive points, not for each and every headings. How much of syllabus will you cover? What is the difference between evaluation and analysis? I will cover that. Okay, last few questions and then I will move on to, can we use external calculators? Yes, you can. Okay. So now we've talked about SFA and we will apply this. So the next topic is financial projection. So in almost all questions relating to SFA, all questions relating to a proposed acquisition, you will be provided with a financial projection. Okay. And as a CFO, think like a CFO, right? As a CFO, you are expected to analyze the financial projection and come up with some observations or comments. So I don't want you to waste a lot of time on the projections. So in order to save your time, I have come up with a checklist of 5 things. Okay. So I've prepared a checklist of 5 things. So whenever, now listen very carefully, whenever in your exams you see an exhibit which contains financial projections, immediately you will do these 5 things, nothing less, nothing more. So you need to remember these 5 things. It's a checklist. Okay. Step number 1, you will see whether the projection should be based on discounted cash flows using a sensible discount rate. So for any multi-year proposal, multi-year means more than 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. So if the projection talks about multiple years, it has to be based on discounted cash flow approach using a sensible discount rate. So in case if the projections is not if the projection which is given to you in the exhibit is not based on discounted cash flow, that will be your first comment in the answer, that the projection should be based on discounted cash flow using a reasonable discount rate. Now, after you check the discounted cash flow, the second thing you will check is you will quickly calculate simple payback. Okay. No need to show any calculations. Just calculate simple payback, and simple means it just means using non-discounted cash flow and mention in your answer. It will give a good impression to the examiner or to the board of directors that you are telling them that the payback period is 4 years and 7 months. It will give you some perspective about the investment, right? The first thing is you check whether it is DCF. Second thing is you calculate the payback as quickly as possible. No need to calculate to show the calculations, just directly use your calculator. The third thing is you review the assumptions for any apparent stupidity. So I just want you to identify one or two stupid things which you, being an intelligent CFO, can pick up. Okay, and if you can't find any stupid assumption or anything which seems abnormal, then you can just write a general sentence that we must that the adequacy of the assumptions needs to be revalidated. So if you can't find any stupid thing, then you just write that all the assumptions behind the calculations should be revalidated or reconfirmed. That's it. The fourth thing is mention in your answer any tax implications that needs to be considered. So sometimes the projections may include after tax impacts, and sometimes it will not talk about anything about tax. So in case the projections does not talk about tax, then it's nice if you write a line that in case there are any tax implications that in the country that needs to be considered in the projections. Just throw a stone and go out. Okay, just mention the point. You don't need to do anything, no need for calculations. Just identify some basic things, like tax is basic, right? And the fifth one is, lastly, you will just mention that it is recommended that a sensitivity analysis should be done. Just write one sentence. And I hope you all know what a sensitivity analysis is. It means that what if the costs increases by 10% and the projected revenue decreases by 10%, what is the impact on the NPV? It's called sensitivity analysis. Okay, so I need a promise from you. You need to promise me that you will remember this 5-item checklist, and whenever you see a financial projection, I repeat, financial projection, immediately you will not scratch here and there. You will just go through your 5-point checklist and come up with your observations. So please repeat with me. The first thing you will make sure is that the projections are based on discounted cash flow. Second thing is you will check the payback. Third thing is you will comment one comment on the assumptions. Fourth thing is you will talk about any possible tax implications. Fifth thing, you will talk about conducting a sensitivity analysis. Okay, please remember this checklist. Right, so let me stop and take a question about how much knowledge of P4 is required. Uzair, none. What about acceptability in public company? That's what I said. Public company is a listed company, Simran. Don't complicate things, keep it simple. Can we talk about strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats under suitability? No. I repeat, Charlester is saying, can we talk about strength, weakness, opportunity, threats under suitability? No. Remember, suitability talks about external factors only. So yes, you can talk about opportunities and threats because they are external. Strengths and weakness, they pertain to internal. So you cannot talk about strength and weakness under suitability. You can talk about strength and weakness under feasibility. Okay, please don't do this conceptual mistake. Can we use PESTEL for suitability as we have to analyze external factors? Yes, you can use PESTEL and Porter, but please don't apply the model. It will get complicated. Just look at target company, home country, target country, target company. This 3-paragraph will make your life easy. Okay. Any information about target country, obviously it's external, right? Just follow the paragraphs. But if financial data for calculation, we can use Excel and then copy paste to Word. What calculation are you talking about? We are not supposed to show any calculation. I repeated that, right? We are not supposed to show any calculations. You are not required to do or demonstrate any calculations. Our calculations will be directly on our calculator and we will just reproduce the ratios. That's it. Again, you don't show calculations to the board, right? Sir, how can we demonstrate professional skills? I will teach you. In financial projections, do we have to show the ratio analysis in spreadsheet, or we can just mention in word processor? No, just word processor. Try and avoid the spreadsheet as much as possible. In projections, you don't do ratios. Okay, projections is that will not give you balance sheets. Sir, can you explain the doubt by Volga again? I don't know which doubt you're talking about. Can you please mention what doubt Volga said? And I will answer that. Can we use an external calculator? Of course, yes. If it fulfills the criteria specified by ACCA. So if it's not about proposed acquisition, it is better to use pastel. No, please don't try to use models unnecessarily here and there. Okay, please keep it simple. It's about the finance. All right, done. Oh, there are more questions. Oh my God, questions are not ending. Whoa. Do we need to acknowledge SFA? Should we need to calculate and write ratios in acceptability? Yes, I will show you. Nandini, I had already answered your question. How to decide when to use SFA. So please avoid asking questions which have already been answered, because I don't want to waste a lot of time in repeating. You can watch the video in case you have joined late. All right, 6 M's. Sayyid Hassan, I will kill you. On one side I'm saying avoid using models, and you are talking about 6 M's. What the hell is 6 M's? Will you talk about 6 M's with the directors? Please. Okay. Farhad, what's your question? I can't go and look for your question. Just copy paste your question and I will answer it, because I've got like thousands of questions in front of me and the screen is continuously moving. Sir, if tax rate we recalculate in what? Sir, if tax rate we recalculate and is different in years, do we need to raise questions or assumptions? Please, Fahad, do not complicate things. No need to recalculate tax in different years. Forget about it. It is a simple paper. Nothing of this sort is going to come. Okay. Please come down and keep it basic and simple. Do not overthink or overcomplicate SBL. It is very, very simple. You see, the directors are dumb. They're not very smart like you. So please avoid. So, no complicated stuff will be there. Trust me, and in a little bit you will see the questions. So you will understand what I am explaining. All right. COVID-19 possibility? No, I don't think so. All right, wait. Please ask questions relating to the financial projection topic only. Okay, don't talk to me about EPSM model or how many lines, how many paragraphs. We will talk about it once we come to that topic. Please restrict your questions to the topic which we are talking about, right? I hope you understand. Whoa. All right. So now, so what's the time now? How are we doing? It is 10 o'clock. Okay. So it's almost like 1.5 hours. Not bad. So do you guys need a break? or let me just give me 5 more minutes. Let me show you the formats and the professional skills, and then we take a break. Okay, just 5 more minutes more. So now the question, our first practice question for this webinar is we will be doing SBL December 2018 question number 1B. Okay, and if you look at this question, it is asking us to draft a report or submit a report, something like that. So I just want to show you the report format. So first of all, you will give the heading in center, a big heading in center. We will write report in center, big, bold, underline, so that the examiner can see from 10 miles away that it is a report. Then you talk about two, and under two you will write the name or the designation of the addressee. It will be given to you in the question. Then you will talk about from. In the from, you will write your role, and your role will also be mentioned in the question. Then you will write subject, and you will pick up the keyword from the question or from the requirement. And the date you will write is 8 September 2020. And why 8 September? For most of you who might not know, 8 September is the date of your SBL paper. So you must write 8 September on that day. And then you will write a heading called introduction. And then you will say this report, blah, 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 and you will just copy paste from the requirement. Very simple format, okay? And in these questions, we have been asked to demonstrate evaluation skills. So what is evaluation skill? Evaluation skill simply means to give arguments in a balanced way. Give arguments in a balanced way. What is the meaning of balanced way? That is giving both pros and cons, so that it could be used for decision making. Okay, so when you are analyzing or evaluating a proposal for the board of directors, you need to talk both about pros and cons. So how will you score good marks in evaluation skill? It's very simple. You just make sure that you have mentioned both pros and cons. Okay, this is the thing. So you don't really need to write anything extra or do anything extra or change the format of your drafting. All you need to do, if you want to score good marks in evaluation, just make sure that you give both pros and cons. Okay, mention at least one con. If the case is full of pros, no need to mention equal quantities. If the case is full of pros, mention all the pros, but just make sure that towards the end you do mention one con or one risk or one disadvantage. Then you will get good evaluation marks. All right, so now let me then sir, for evaluation skill, do I need to give recommendation? Peter, my friend, I explained to you when we give recommendations and when we don't give recommendations. It has nothing to do with professional skills. Okay, so if the question says evaluate, then we will evaluate. We will not give any recommendation, even if the professional marks is for evaluation. But if the question says along with recommendation, then yes. If our calculation is wrong, do we still get marks? Some marks will be deducted, but I hope your calculations should not go wrong. There are no complicated calculations. I hope you can calculate gearing. I hope you can calculate current asset ratio. And that's it. These are the two main ratios required in SBL. Right, so let's guys take a 10 minutes break, and Mm, right now it is 10:05 Pakistan Standard Time. So 10:15 I will resume. Okay, right. See you in a bit. Right. Welcome back from the break. And before the break, we talked about SFA framework. Then we talked about financial projections. Then we talked about report format. And then we talked about evaluation skills under professional skills. Okay. So now we are ready for our first question, which is December 2018. Question number 1B. Okay, so now to solve this question, I will now move towards the CBE platform, which is available on the ACCA website under your My ACCA domain. And I have already opened this paper. Those of you who are doing manual paper, in case you don't have the physical paper in front of you, in fact, everybody, you can watch on the screen how I am handling the paper, how I am highlighting, how I am referencing. Okay, so now I am changing my screen and I am going to the CBE platform. Right, so this is the CBE platform, and I won't be able to write anything here with my electronic pen because it's it's an exam software, so I can just use my mouse. So you can see my mouse, right? So I would just take 5-6 minutes and explain to you some key features of the CBE software. And I understand that the manual paper friends, this 5 minutes may not be of much relevance, but it would be nice if you can also, look at the CBE. So this is how your paper will look. So when you enter your paper, this is the first screen you will see. It is called workspace. What is it called? Workspace. Okay. So on the left side, you will see the exhibits. There are in total 7 exhibits. So the first one is basically an overview or an introduction, and then followed by 6 proper exhibits. Then followed, the second section is tasks on the left side. Task means questions. So in this paper, there are 3 questions or 3 tasks. Task 1 is 39 marks and so forth. And then the third segment is called resource options. You have got 3, this is where you type your answer. So you can use word processor, you can use spreadsheet, or you can use slides depending on the question. 95% of the time we will be using word processing. Okay. So now on this side, there's a highlighting tool. If you want to highlight, you just press highlight. You can change the color. There are yellow, green, blah, blah, blah. You can also remove. So I've selected yellow. So when you want to highlight, so you select this line like something like this, and you press highlight, and it will be highlighted. Okay. And if I want to remove it, I will just select and I will say remove. Strike through, we will not use calculator. This is the online calculator. No need to use it. Scratchpad is, let me click on Scratchpad. So this opens like a Scratchpad. You can type anything, and it will not be submitted to the examiner. But I do not recommend that you guys use Scratchpad, because the reason is, if I format it, and then I copy this, Control C, I go to my word processor. I think it doesn't carry the format. You see, it doesn't bring the format. When you copy paste from Scratchpad into your word processor, it deletes the format. So again, I have to, spend extra precious time in formatting stuffs. So it's better to save time that we Don't use scratchpad. Whatever you want to copy paste, whatever you want to do it directly on the word processor. Okay, forget about all these scratchpad calculators. Try just the highlighting option is of some use. So now when you click on any of these items, it will open up in a new window. So for example, if I click on report on performance, let's say I click on it. So you see this window, it opens in a window. Now I can change the size of this window. How can I change the size? I will go to the right bottom corner here. Right bottom, there's a small dongle, you see. I can drag, I can reduce the width, I can reduce the height, okay, and I can go on top and I can then keep it on this side. All right, and then I will also open question task. Let me click on task. It will open another window. So now again I will just resize it a bit, and I can bring it here and I can put it here. So now I can read the requirement on one side and I can read the exhibit on the other side. Or I can also, close this exhibit and I can take it here and I can open the word processor. I will resize it and I can just place it here and I can copy paste. I select this paragraph, I do Control C, I do Control V, and you can easily copy paste stuff from one window to other window. So this is how if you open two windows simultaneously, you resize them and you open them in such a manner that they are, alongside each other. You can easily copy stuff. Control C, you go in here and V. So it will save a lot of time. And then I can close this and I can close this. Oops, I just closed my word processor. Oh my God, I didn't save it. So there is no option of saving. So hopefully it should be there. So when I open it, nothing gets deleted. Okay, it's always there. You can resize it, you can play with it, whatever you want. You can move it. Okay, you can also increase or reduce the size of this. So I can, just keep it. It doesn't really matter. Right. So this is how we use. So the guys, do you remember the first thing I said? What is the technique of linking your answers? Let me go back. Yeah. So on this slide, you see the first thing done was make a list of requirements. That's the first thing. So both manual students and CB students, the moment you get your paper, after saying Bismillah, after praying to God, the second thing is you make a list of requirements. So let me show you how to make a list of requirements. So this is the workspace. I will open the word processor. I will bring it here somewhere. I'm kind of resizing it. Let me delete everything. Control A, delete. Or I can take it on this side. I will keep it on this side. Now I open task 1. So no need to copy everything. It's a waste of time. I just want to know what is the main topic or the main technical question. So this question number A, I will just copy this. I will not copy the story, the unbold thing. I will not copy the marks. I will not even copy the professional, because the purpose is I just want to know the topic. So I will select Control C. Which task is this? Task 1. So I will go here. I will say task 1, and then I will go here. I will select. I will press Control C and Control V. enter, enter, enter. I go here again, I go down. What is task 1B? Control C, Control V, enter, enter, enter. So task 1 is finished. 1A and 1B. I will close the exhibit. So manual students, what you will do is on the last page of your answer sheet. So you will just read the requirement. It says the chief business analyst has asked you to prepare briefing notes for the finance director for consideration at the next board meeting, which delete all the scrap. Discuss the key factors which have enabled Highlight to be successful in its home country of DLATs. So I know that we need to look for key factors which have enabled us to be successful. Similarly for B, so you just write key success factors or key factors which have enabled Highlight to be successful. Similarly for B, using the fact sheet and any other relevant information, prepare a report, which delete the scrap. Evaluate the proposal to acquire Comfy Stay hotel chain. You see, so I've removed all the extra stupid things so that I can just know what exactly the requirement is asking me. So part 1 is asking me to identify key factors. Part 2 asks me to evaluate the proposal to acquire. Now I will say task 2 and I will click on task 2. It opens here. I will take it here. I will resize the windows a bit so that I can easily copy paste. So task 2 is Control C, Control V, and if you read, prepare a draft press release responding to the criticisms, assessing the social and environmental impact with a view to reassuring. So this question wants me to respond to the criticism regarding social and environmental impact. That's it. And what's 1B, 2B? I just copy paste and I bring in the mouse here, enter, enter, enter. Again, I just remove the extra information. The finance director asks you to provide her with briefing notes, which she will use to assess in the discussions with Highlight Board, which assess the role and benefits of integrated reporting. So the topic is integrated reporting. Okay, and then you close this. And then task 3. I will write 3 and I will just copy this, paste here. The chief business analyst has asked you to write a report for the next meeting which discuss the potential challenges posed by the development of the disruptive technologies which are emerging in the hotel industry and highlight the potential application of disruptive technology. So what's the topic? Disruptive technology. Okay. And what's B? The finance director has asked you to prepare 3 slides, one for each and accompanying notes, assessing the potential outcomes of each of the information system risks and recommend actions. So I know the topic, information system risks and recommendations. So done with the copy pasting. So see, in a CBE, it just took me 3 minutes. I copy pasted all the requirements. So now I know, I can see at a glance that I need to look for key factors when I'm reading the exhibits. I need to look for SFA information. I need to look for social and environmental points. I need to look for integrated reporting points. I need to talk about points relating to disruptive technologies. And I need to talk about information system risks. So essentially, there are six things, right? Six things. So manual students, you will just write a small list. You will say success factors, SFA, social environmental impact, integrated reporting, disruptive technology, and the last one would be information system risks. So this list I will keep in front of me when I am reading the exam. So right now, we will be doing this question 1B, right? I just wanted to demonstrate how to copy paste all the requirements and to show you the timing. But actual focus is actually we will be doing this question. So now, before starting this question, I would open the requirements again. And let me read. Now I will read. The Board of Highlight has identified an existing chain of hotels called Comfy Stay located in Villandia, which it is considering acquiring. So I think this is a good information. It tells me the name of the hotel and the location. So I will just go select my highlighter. The chief business analyst has passed you a fact sheet which he prepared containing data relating to the proposed acquisition required. Using the fact sheet referred to above and any other relevant information, prepare a report for the finance director. So what's the format? We need a report. Who should it be addressed to? The finance director, and which evaluates the proposal to acquire the Comfy Stay hotel chain. So before let's make a format. Okay. So manual students can make a report format manually, and I will make a report electronically. First of all, I will write big report, inverted comma, caps, report, inverted comma, oops. Report, underline you can do Control U, or you can press this. And then you see this option, paragraph. See this option? If you click here, there are so many formatting options. The largest one is heading 1, then a little bit smaller, and then smaller. So heading 1 is report. I would select a big one. Okay. Let me, why is it not? Okay, and I will center it. So these are left, center, right. So I press center. It looks like this, report. Okay. Now I will say 2. Let me remove the underline. Okay. Now 2 from subject, date, introduction. Correct? So 2, who will be the report directed to? Who will be the report addressed to? Somewhere mentioned here. Prepare a report for the finance director. So I will just copy finance director, Control C, and I will see Control V, and I would just change small f to big F, finance director. From, what is my role? So my role is actually mentioned in the overview document which we haven't read, which we will read. So it says here, you are a senior business analyst working within the business analysis department of Highlight. So what is my role? I am a senior business analyst. Control C. I close this window. I go here. from Control V, I change small h to big, senior business analyst. Subject I will pick from the requirement. It says evaluates the proposal to acquire Comfy Stay hotel chain. So proposal to acquire Comfy Stay hotel chain. Control C. Go here, Control V. I will delete small p and make a proposal to acquire Comfy Stay hotel chain. Done. Date 8 September 2020. Introduction. I will just copy paste from the requirements, and manual students, you will just manually write from the requirement. I will say this report, and then copy paste. Evaluates the proposal to acquire Comfy Stay hotel chain. Control C, Control V. That's it. So we are now done. Now a bit of formatting. I want this to be go in the paragraph section. Select heading 3. So it will become a bit larger. So all headings, I prefer using heading 3. So it looks nice and professional from a board of directors point of view. Do you think it looks nice? It says report in the center, largest font, and then finance director, senior business, subject, date, introduction. Now your answer will start. So I would say suitability. What else? Okay. So again, I would say heading 3, heading 3, heading 3. Now under suitability, I need 3 paragraphs, right? It was target, no, it was home country, and then it was target country, and then it was correct. Under feasibility, you need to talk about human resource, financial resource, IT/brand. Under acceptability, you will talk about financial projections. Correct? So I just laid down the skeleton. Okay, now what I'll do is, now manual students, you will not be able to write all this. You will just keep in mind, and when you will be reading the exhibit, wherever you see, now listen very carefully, half the job is done. So when you will read the exhibit, wherever you find information about home country, CBE students will highlight that information and you will paste it here under home country. And wherever you see information about target country, you will copy and paste under target country. Then suddenly you will see some information about brand, copy and put it under brand. So automatically your answer will start being compiled. Manual students, obviously you can't do this technique. So whenever you come across any information about home country, just highlight that and write home country in front of that paragraph. Or you can write question number 1B, or you can write suitability. Whatever your brain accepts, just do some noting so that once you complete reading all the 6 exhibits, you can automatically then pick up and compile information and reproduce on your answers. Okay, so the only difference between manual paper and CBE paper is the way we do referencing. In CBE paper, we will copy paste the sentences. In manual paper, you will write the question number in front of the exhibits, and then you will draft or pick up and copy those sentences in your physical manual answer. Okay, so now I will close this. My format is ready. I will close the requirement. So for this, I think we need to review. I don't want to read the entire story, but I've mentioned here we need to review. We need to read the overview and exhibit 4 for this particular question. Okay. So let's read overview. So open an overview. So this will open up. So I will just increase the font size, the visibility, so that you guys can see. And I can increase the window. All right. So now I know that I'm looking for some home country information. Most likely negative information. I'm looking for information about target country, which is Finlandia. It was mentioned in the requirement. And I'm looking for information about target company, which is Comfy Stay Hotel. And then I'm looking for human resource information, financial resources information, IT and brand information. Then I will look for financial projections and all those stuff. So Highlight Hotel is a listed hotel chain located in the country of D-Land. So it's a listed company. Okay, you will remember this. And it is located in D-Land. So now listed is an important information because I will use it under acceptability. You remember? Acceptability, we need to talk about shareholders acceptance. So it depends whether it's a family-owned business or a listed company. So in this case, it's a listed company. D-Land has a developed economy which has experienced strong growth in the last 15 years. It has a highly developed tourism industry. So it all looks relevant to me. First, I will read the exhibit and I will highlight, and then I will decide where I can use this information. Highlight's competitive advantage is built on its highly competitive pricing strategy, and this has been a significant factor in its current position as the leading hotel brand in D-Land. It's a leading hotel brand, highly competitive pricing strategy. Highlight normally attracts those travelers seeking no-frill accommodation at a reasonable price, and as such is referred to as a budget hotel chain. Every Highlight hotel room provides a bathroom, a TV, free Wi-Fi, and each hotel offers a complimentary breakfast. However, Highlight hotels do not provide additional services such as bars, restaurants, leisure facilities. Every hotel has a similar layout and design and are mostly located at airports, city center locations, and close to major transport such as D-Land's main road. So a lot of information. I don't think we might use it except for some key sentences. Highlight was founded 40 years ago, beginning with 2 hotels in the capital city of D-Land. Since then, it has grown significantly, operating 510 hotels, 46,000 rooms. Whoa. It is now the largest hotel chain since it was founded. Highlight's growth has been achieved organically within D-Land. With investment being gradually made in new Highlight branded hotels each year throughout D-Land. Although it is currently the leading hotel brand, Highlight faces fierce competition. That's a negative point I was looking at. In the last 10 years, Highlight has made significant investments in web-based technology, which has resulted in 75% of room bookings through online. Okay. through the website. Highlight operates with low number of staff in each hotel, but the staff in these hotels are highly trained to provide excellent customer service. So low number of staff, highly trained. Highlight values its staff highly and is strongly committed to staff development and retention. Okay. Highlight pay above the DLAND national minimum wage in order to encourage staff commitment and loyalty. These are important information, and because we have not read all the requirements thoroughly, I know this is going to use in social and environmental points, but not in SFA. Now, you are a senior business analyst. This is my role. Working with the business analysis department of Highlight, you report to the chief business analyst, who reports directly to the finance director, and a wide range of officers. So now, because we are just doing SFA question, I'm looking for some basic information about home country. I'm more interested in some negative information or some challenges. I'm looking for target country, I'm looking for target company, and then human resource, financial resource. Okay. So listed hotel chain, we all know DLAND is a developed economy. So maybe I can copy this basic sentence, Control C. I go to word processor and I paste it under home. Do you understand what I did? I do it again. I selected the highlight thing, copied, and I think I decided where to post, where to put it. So I think I can use this information about home country. So I just went under the heading of home country and I pasted. So menu students, you will just write HC, or HC stands for home country, or you can write suitability, which means SUIT, or you can write 1B in front of this paragraph here. So it's a leading hotel brand, fine. It has grown significantly, operating 510 rooms. It has grown organically within DLAND. I know where to put it, but just keep in mind, or it has grown organically. Highlight faces competition. So I will just copy this, Control C. I will go to the word processor. Again, I will enter, Control V. Okay. What else? It has made significant investments in web-based technology. Where can I use this information? Can you think? Take 5 seconds. Technology is the key word. Technology. If you go under feasibility, I can see human resource, financial resource, IT brand here. Just paste it here. Do you understand the technique? The manual students, you will write technology. You will write here TECH, or you will write 1B here, so that you know when you are drafting your answer, you can use this information. Highly trained people. I can copy this, and where should I go? Highly trained people. Let me put it somewhere here, the human resource, and then in the end I will decide what to pick and what to delete. Right. Done. So we are done with the overview, and based on the overview we have, I will close the overview. We already found some basic information. Now guys, open up fact sheet. Okay, so fact sheet, I will just increase the size. I will close the word processor. Now I will focus on the reading of fact sheet. Why is it highlighted? Let me remove the highlighted thing. Okay, so let's read the fact sheet. Comfy Stay Hotel Chain. Key business / industry data. Comfy Stay is a family-run business which has lacked investment in last 10 years. Interesting. Let's highlight. All 20 hotels in the chain have been in operation for last 18 years. Okay, let me highlight. These are in premium locations but with outdated facilities. Okay. Mid-range hotels, some with additional leisure facilities such as gym and pools, not classed as a budget hotel. So we are a budget hotel. This is a mid-range hotel. Okay. Now, Villandia is 5,000 miles from Deland. It has a developing economy but low wage rate, and there is some evidence of poor employment practices. Some evidence of underage labor. So this information is about Villandia country, target country, right? So this is target company, all this, and this is target country. Villandia has a thriving tourism industry. Okay. So let's copy paste. Information about Comfy Stay. Where will this go? Control C. I will open the word processor again. Target company here. And then there are 20 hotels operating for 18 years. Control C. Control V. These are premium locations but with out-of-date facilities. I will continue with this. Copy paste it here. Mid-range hotel. This is something which what else? Now Villandia, all this information about Villandia I will copy and I will paste under target country. Villandia is 5,005. It has a developing economy. Some okay, done. So manual students, you will just write here target country, and here you will select all this. You will say target company. Done. Now I give you guys like 5 minutes. Let me increase the size of this for you so that you can see. So this is key investment data based on a 6-year investment plan. Note all figures used have been converted into DLAN's home currency. There is year 0, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, year 6. Revenues, initial investments, some expenses, total cost, cash, net cash flow, discounting factor, present value, net present value. I give you 5 minutes. Please analyze this projection and come up with 3 to 4 observations or comments. Hint, you have to use the 5-point checklist which you had promised me that you will use whenever you see or whenever you come across a financial projection. Just So first thing first, since it's a multi-year projection, it should be based on discounted cash flow. So just check whether it is based on discounted cash flow. Yes, they have used a discount factor of 12% and the net present value is $10 million. Not bad at a discount factor. So yes, so the first thing is done. It is based on discounted cash flow and it is showing positive NP. The second thing is you need to calculate the payback. So we will just use the net cash flow before discounting. Can anybody tell me the payback? I don't remember. Maybe it's 4 years, 7 months or something. Can anybody quickly calculate the payback? And I'm not gonna teach you how to calculate paybacks, my friends. This is basic Montessori stuff. Darshid is asking what to do if it's not discounted. Nothing. You will just say that the projections needs to be discounted using a reasonable discount rate. That's it. Well, how more simple can it get? Please, can somebody calculate the payback? Minus 90, this one, and then 17, 23, 27. I think somewhere 4 years. Okay. So you 3.7 years or 3.6 years. Oh shit, man. One person is saying 3.7, one is saying 3.5, one is saying 5 years, 3 months. Someone is saying between 3 and 4 years. No, you can't do that. 3.5 years. Someone is saying 4.4. Someone is saying 5 years, 3 months. Now, can you understand examiner's frustration? Or can you see or feel my frustration? I asked a simple question. Can somebody calculate payback? And in 3 minutes, I got 30 different answers. Something as simple as a payback, and you guys are not giving me a reliable answer. It's ranging from 3.5, someone saying 3.7, someone saying 3.9, then someone is saying 4.2, then someone is saying 5.3. I mean, I don't understand. What's up to you guys? Please, are you following the cash flow before discounting? This, can you see my cursor? You need to follow this before discounting. I had mentioned earlier it has to be a simple payback before discounting. Okay, fine. I don't care. I'm not going to fix it. I'm not going to teach you how to calculate payback, because if you don't know how to calculate payback, you don't deserve to be in SBL. As simple as that. Right. So whatever is the payback, I think 3.7 or something. So that's item number 2. Item number 3, look at the numbers, and if you see any stupid assumption or some abnormal thing, please identify. I give you 1 minute. Start with the revenues. Thirty more seconds. See something. I can clearly see some stupid things which doesn't make sense to me. But let's see if you are able to pick it up. Right. So I can immediately see on the revenues, the first year is 48 million. Second year is 48 million, is same or constant. And then suddenly in year 3 it becomes 53 million, and then it stays the same for the next 6 years. This seems very unrealistic to me. How can a hotel have same revenues in the first 2 years and then exactly identical revenues from year 3 to year 6? How is that possible? This is unrealistic. Similarly, if you look at operating cost, which is the next big item, the biggest item on the cost side, same stupidity, 21 million, 21 million, and then suddenly it becomes 24, 24, 24, 24. So both the revenue and the operating cost, I don't really understand as a finance director or the CFO. Whoever idiot or stupid has done this projection, I will immediately fire him from the job. You see, the board is going to make a very important decision based on this projection. How can you take unrealistic assumptions and it will give a misleading picture to the board, right? So the assumptions needs to be very, very logical, realistic, and needs to be challenged. Right, so just one thing. Done. Number 4, I need to see tax implication. Is there any tax implications considered in this projection? Nope. So I need to ask a question. And lastly, sensitivity analysis needs to be done. What if the revenues, the projected revenues are short by 10%? And what if the projected costs overrun by 10%? What impact will be there on the NPV? So where is the word processor? Let's click here. So on the financial projections, where is it? I will go to acceptability, financial projections. So the project currently the projections are showing a positive NPV, right? So that information I can put under shareholders. The financial projections are showing a positive NPV of dollar, how much? 10.56 million of dollar, 10.56 million at a discount rate of 12%. This means that shareholders will most likely accept the proposal from a returns point of view. Alas, as simple as that. Now the other observations I would put under financial projections. First of all, I will say the payback of the project is 3 years and 7 months, or whatever you guys calculate. I don't give a damn about it. And assumptions, however, the assumptions regarding revenue and cost projections needs to be rechecked, as the revenue/costs are fixed for year 1 and 2, and then again fixed for year 3 to 6, right? Is it 3 to 6? Yeah. That's it. Short and sweet. What else? further tax implications needs to be considered, if any. Also, I suggest that a sensitivity analysis should be performed. Khalas. See, so half my answer is already done. Okay, let's go back. So I've done this exhibit. Oh my God, there's some additional information. It is expected that some of DLAN's hotel managers would need to relocate to Villandia for approximately 3 months to 12 months on a temporary basis to assist in training and staff development in the first year, and will be required to carry out an ongoing mentoring. So this is about staffing, that how you would staff or manage the, okay. And then finance for this investment would be available through a combination of equity and debt financing. Wow. So where can I copy paste this information? I will just go to my word processor. Finance, financial resources. Here. And where can this information go? That, the staffing bit, it can go under human resource. That how we going to manage the business. So I'm done with this exhibit. So our answer is almost ready. So let's look what's missing. So report to the finance director, introduction, suitability. We've got some information about suitability, like home country. We will say England has a developed economy which has experienced strong growth in the last 15 years. The land also has a highly developed tourism industry. And then I will say, however. However means that now you're going to cover a negative thing. However, instead of highlight, we will say we face. Why do I say we face? Because my role is, I'm an employee of the company, so I will not talk like a third person. From several home-based and international hotels. Enough. Target country. Villandia is 5,000 miles from D-land. It has a developing economy, but low wage rate, and there is some evidence of poor employment, some evidence of use of underage, and full stop. I mean, you can slightly change the wording. I'm running short of time today, so I'm not changing the wording, but you can just stick with the bulk of the wording. Just, change the wordings a little bit here and there rather than exact copy pasting. So do you think Villandia is good? So I would just add my comment. It seems that Villandia is a suitable country to target for. This comment is important, okay? Because just copy pasting is not enough. What is your thought? What is your comment? So based on the logic, so these are the logics. Here is what you are giving your comment, okay? So very important that after the logics, you need to write a one-liner saying what you think. Similarly, target company says Comfy Stay is a family-run business which has lacked investment in the last 10 years. All 20 hotels in the chain have been in operation for 18 years. These are in premium locations but with outdated facilities. It's a mid-range hotel with some additional leisures and pools. It is not classed as a budget hotel. Now, what's your view? Comfy Hotel might be a good company to target as it is struggling. However, it is not a budget hotel, and we will have to address this in due course. Khalas. Just write couple of lines on what you think so that the board can debate on your comments, and that's it. You're done. Feasibility. First of all, you remember the 3 paragraphs we talked about here. Remember this? Do we have acquisition experience from the past? What do you think? Do we have acquisition experience from the past? No. It was mentioned somewhere that it has grown significantly operating and we have grown organically. We have never acquired something. So we will say that first comment is we have grown organically so far and hence do not have any experience of acquisition in the past. 1 point done. Second point we need to talk about, do we have experience of managing similar businesses? Yeah, we are the best. We are the leading hotel chain and hence possess the required skills and experience to run a hotel. However, what's the third one? Do we have experience of working in an overseas country? No. However, we have never managed a hotel outside D-land. That's it. So remove this thing and I can also it is expected and just keep this sentence. That's it. Financial resources. Finance for this investment would be available through a combination of equity and debt finance. Hence, this does not seem as a challenge. Okay, we have the finance. Stop. IT and brand. We have strong website which can be used in Comfy Hotel. Also, we can use our brand for marketing purposes. That's it. Just simple, basic things. Acceptability, we have already done the shareholder acceptance. We have mentioned the NPV. That's it. Culture, we will say since Finlandia is another country 5,000 miles away, we need to consider any cultural differences. Financial projections, done. Okay, guys, should we give a recommendation? Please think before you answer. Very good. All right, so Kazi is saying I took 50 minutes to draft this answer. Yes, because I am teaching you guys, I am going very slow. Once you do it on your own, it will not take that much time. And even I've got a 1 hour reading time as well. So I'm using my reading time to highlight stuff. And then I really don't need to draft anything. You just so, excuse me, Sarika is saying, yes, question requires us to recommend. Sarika, are you sure? Asad is saying we are supposed to make formats of each requirement before reading the exhibit. No, no, no. And I will make the format. Let me think. I would no, I would make the format when I'm about to answer the question. Okay, because I was answering this question right away. That's why I made the format right away. But when you are reading the whole exhibits, you will first read the exhibits. You will plot all the, you will reference all the points or drop all the points, and then in the last, when you are about to draft the question, sorry, draft the answer, then you will make the format. Do we need to write like this, or we need to write a bit more? No, no need for a bit more. You don't have the time. Just this much. This length is sufficient for the required marks? Yes, it is. 1 point is 2 marks. Okay. While completing the paper, do we need to delete the requirements? No need. No recommendation. Good. No recommendation is required, so I will not give any recommendation. How can I identify which answer that I'm writing even after minimize or close? I mean, do we need to address the question number in Word? Yes, you have to. Leave recommendation. Can we use word processor in our reading time and draft? Yes, of course. You can use word processor from the first minute. How many marks do you think that should we have scored exactly as you have done tonight? James has asked a very interesting question. James is asking, how many marks do you think your answer would have scored exactly as you have done tonight? Okay, let me show you how the examiner marks the question. So forget about the format. So how many points I have given? So I've said about D-land has a developed economy and it's got fierce competition. That's 1 point. I've talked about Finlandia, 2 point. I've talked about target company. I would say another 2 points here, so total 4 points, or make it 1.3 points. I talked about several aspects of human resource. I would count this as 2 points, so 3 plus 2, 5 points, 6 point, 7 point, 8 point, 9 point, 10 point, 11 point, 12 points. Okay, let's say I've given 12 points. Approximately 12 to 13 points I have mentioned. Okay. Generally, this kind of an answer, examiner will give me 1 mark for each point. Okay, because the standard mark for each point is 2 marks. So 1 point carries 2 marks as per the examiner. But in order to score that 2 marks, you need to give a really, really juicy point, which is lengthy, which covers multiple exhibits. It's not really practical for us in the exam to target such juicy points. So the kind of drafting which I have done, I will get 1 mark for each point out of 2 marks. So since I've given like 13 points, I should be able to get 13 marks. Okay. Plus, there are 4 marks for evaluations. So I'm not being optimistic. Did we cover pros and cons? Did we cover some good points and some bad points? I think we did. We did a balanced evaluation of covering both positive and negative points. So I would say out of 4, I would get 2 marks. So 12 to 13 marks from this and 2 marks from professional. So I would say around 4, I should sufficiently score 14 marks out of 20. So it all depends on the number of points you write. So if I go back and I remind you of the major reasons why students fail, is that they write insufficient number of points. Because I gave at least 12 to 13 points, I can safely score 12 marks. Okay, plus 2 marks of professional, so 14 marks. This is how the examiner marks. He will count the number of points, and I'm just talking about average students here. So average students with average English, average drafting skills, out of 2 marks, I would expect 1 mark. I'm not going to be over ambitious or over optimistic. So if I want to score 12 marks, I need to give 12 points. Okay. So if you are able to write very juicy, very good points, then you can settle down with less number of points. But I would suggest, I gave 12 points deliberately so that I get 12 marks and followed by this. So do you understand how the marking is done? The reason I am telling you this inside story of how the marking is done is so that if you know how the marking is done, then you can, place more emphasis on the number of points, which we will talk about more tomorrow. Okay, so I close this and let me take the questions. Only 14, Kazi, are you out of your senses? 14 out of 20, you are saying it as only? I am targeting 10 to 12 marks max. Please, this is a low scoring paper with a 47% pass rate. Please set your expectations realistic, okay? Hi sir, copy pasting to relevant answer has been done after reading the whole exhibit or not? Yes, I read the whole exhibit, I highlight the whole exhibit, and then I try to copy paste the highlighted stuff in one go after reading each exhibit. Yes, I showed you the markings too. Do we have to read all exhibits? I will answer that later. You don't need to read all exhibits. I will, on day 3, I will explain to you what to read, what not to read. What is your question, Fahad? It's lost somewhere. Sir, we take points from the scenario. So if evaluation is the professional skill, what if we don't have any positive point? You will definitely have positive points and negative point if it says evaluation. Otherwise, you just create one positive point, logical point on your own. What if there is not enough points? We will talk about it later. Generally, you can get enough points, but if no, then I will tell you what to do in the last class. Faizan, okay, I will try and ignore stupid questions. Can we assure that our approach is right on professional skills? Excuse me, Ahmed. How can we assure that our approach is right on professional skills? So there are 5 professional skills, and ACCA has defined each professional skill. So there is no ambiguity. So whenever evaluation is required, you need to give pros and cons. So if you stick with that, you will definitely get marks. So what is, I don't understand your question. What is your doubt here? Do we have to read all exhibits to answer a question? Oh yes. We will not start our answer until we've read all the exhibits. So the first hour we will spend on reading. Okay, so we need to read all the exhibits before we start drafting, of course. So what do you suggest? Do we need to copy paste and just use the same words, or we need to rephrase it and add ourselves some content? Fahad, I mentioned this several times that you have to add some comment from your own. Only copy paste will not get you good marks. So copy paste, you can copy paste the facts and figures, but then what is your thoughts, what is your comments, you need to add that. Okay, just producing facts and figures will not get you marks. Sir, are we supposed to read the requirements even before the intro? Yes, as I said, the first thing is you copy paste the requirements, because sometimes some important answer is hidden in intro. So if you don't read the requirements, then you will miss the intro. So better if you read the requirement first and then in the intro, so that you're able to highlight any relevant information which is hidden in the intro, which you can take in your answer. So what is the acceptable percentage of completion of SBL if not all questions are friendly? More than 90%. Okay, you need to at least attempt 90 to 95% of the paper, otherwise you are at risk. Sir, how will you teach how to use spreadsheet for ratios? Aisha, who's telling you to use spreadsheet for ratios? I never said that. Slides, yes, I will teach you slide, but I will not teach you how to use spreadsheet to calculate ratios. You just pick up your calculator, calculate ratios, and write in your word processor. Please don't overcomplicate stuff. Sir, we will take points from the scenario. So if evaluation is the professional skill, what if you don't have positive? Again, you are repeating the same question. Yes, you assume one good point and move on. Sir, please can you share the answer to 1B? Share how? Okay, I will. Where do I share? I mean, this is recorded. And do you want me to share on the WhatsApp group or where? Do we have to follow the sequence? Very interesting question. I will answer this on the last day. Sir, how many lines per point? I will answer this tomorrow. Just ask me questions. Right, so I think we've just, I'm now the kind of questions I'm getting is not to do with this question, but more general about professional marks and the length and practice the revision kit. So I'm not going to take that now. So it's like 3 more minutes. So just to recap, I think we did a good session today. And so today we learned about answers not linked with exhibits. So the only way we can link it is we reproduce certain facts and figures mentioned in the exhibit in our answer, and then based on that facts and figures, we write a 1 or 2 liner comments. The manual students, did you understand the linking, how to link? The only thing is you need to write the question number on your answer sheet, and then when you compile or draft your answer, you can compile the referencing and do your drafting. Okay. So we talked about SFA, we talked about we did this. So I think we did pretty good. So what I suggest is now, if you want, you can do this question at home. Okay, just 1B. Those of you who are giving CBE paper can do this on the CBE platform so that you get hands-on experience. And those of you who are doing it manual, you solve this paper, this question on a piece of paper. And once you solve this, both the CBE students and the manual students, then you will find out how easy or how difficult it was. And after we do 2 or 3 questions, you will suddenly feel that it's getting easier. Please bear in mind, today was the first day we did all this. Definitely you will feel the pressure. It will take more time. It will look difficult. But I promise you, after 3 days, you will find this easy and it will get into your blood. Okay, but the thing is, you should do this question at home tomorrow before tomorrow's webinar. Spend 1 hour. Please do it with your hands, and you will get good grip over it. Okay, so with that, I'm being asked to end the webinar, and I enjoyed today's session. You will learn a bit about my personality, my approach going forward, and I will learn about your approach. But tomorrow it will be much more interesting. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow, 8:30 Pakistan Standard Time. Till then, take care and good night.